So I just wanted to do a quick overview of my printer and my setup, just because it's easier than to just say, oh, I have this, and it's not really something I can just take one picture of, so I'm just going to do a quick video here. As you can see, the printer's pretty big. I'm going to go over there now and stand next to it, yeah, just to give you an idea of the height. Now, I think my head is slightly out of frame, but I am about 195 centimeters tall, so that's about 6 foot, a little less in in US thingies. So yeah, this is a BigDelta. It's designed by Fuse, and I decided to try and build it because I wanted a Delta. And I'm sorry for going handheld, but I really can't move around this printer otherwise. Right now I'm printing some filament bearing block holders, kind of inspired by these. Focus. Inspired by these bearing block holders. They just sit into it, but for a IKEA box, so that I can. It's for the hackerspace because I'm perfectly fine with that. I put my filament. Well, honestly, I haven't done that for a while, but I used to put my filament in a box, closed box with desiccant in it, but it's really not, it's really dry here in Denmark, so it's not really a problem. So yeah, I think I'm just going to leave it like this. I am running the new extruder designed by Fuse. This isn't what you'll find on the GitHub, but you can ask him for a link to his Onshape, and he has it there. It's a very minimalistic extruder. I really love it. Suspended extruder. It's supposed to use a spring there, but that one I have isn't strong enough, so I have this jerry-rigged around here, a very high tension spring. And inside here is a metal tube. I'm gonna go find an example of that actually, because I do have a spare. But yeah. So, oh right, and I'm running a custom effects as well, which I also have a spare of. I'm running this custom effector that I mainly designed. Wow, I should really zoom out, that would make it a lot easier. It's designed by Fuse again, but I added these 3 magnet points to go with this, which is a small plate that takes a micro switch, like the end stops, and then has 3 magnets mounted in the legs there as well. Yeah, I know it didn't focus, but oh well. You get the idea. So yeah, then you have I have a 24 volt power supply, a smoothie board, and some buck regulators underneath. And that's one of the reasons I love deltas. They're so mechanically simple. Most of it is math for the kinetics. And yeah, so specs are, it's 1.5 meters tall, and it's about the circumference of the triangle is about 600 millimeters, 700 millimeters, something like that. The print volume is about, well, technically if I print it to the edge, but that would require me centering the bed properly, that would be 500 millimeters diameter, but I have it set up so right now for 400 millimeters diameter and about 800 millimeters height. Yeah. As you can see over there, I have a heated bed just kind of shoved to the side. I'm not going to be using that for now, because when I did try to use it with PHG last time, this happened to my effector. It didn't like the heat. I had a 75 degree temperature set on the heated bed there, so apparently being close to the heated bed with PLA one with preloading on the arms, yeah, I wasn't happy about that. So the effector here takes a 25mm fan in the end here, and then it's a groove mount. Focus. Yeah, it's a groove mount right there for a this particular one has the correct height and hole diameter and such for a J-head. So I'm running a J-head Mark 8 in that one down there, and you can see it takes a clamp on top that takes a PTC fitting, and I'm using these very good, very nice John Guest PTC fittings that Fuse also well referred me to. They push into a 12mm hole, and they just push into. They're meant for pushing into plastic and mounting that way, and they have these really nice metal teeth that grip the tube. So yeah, they're just great. I have been trying. You can find them on Amazon in the US, but I've been trying hard to find somewhere to buy them in one-offs in the EU. But sadly, I haven't really found anywhere. I managed to get some samples from John Guest though, so yeah. Let's see. Alright, so I'm going to put you back on the tripod. You can watch it print from a distance, and I'm going to go get that example of the metal tube, because that's that's the hardest thing to source for that extruder there. So the extruder, I don't think it has a name yet, but it's called the tube extruder or the Sextruder V4 for suspended extruder V4. I personally go with suspended extruder V4 because I like, that is Sextruder 4, because I really like the sequential naming. There was the V1, of course, the V2, which is the one on GitHub. He did work on a V3, which I also have over here. Whoops. Yep, he did work on a V3, which I ran until today, which basically took come on, there we go. Which basically took the stepper motor. It has the fittings in the ends here, and then it has this block that has a bearing in it, and that sits in here, and then has this arm here. It's actually supposed to have a bolt going across here, but mine is printed a bit off, so it had to sit like kind of like that when the gear was in. So I just put a rubber band around here and back onto there, and that worked really well. So yeah, and then that's the V4. So I like the sequential naming scheme, but the V4 takes a 3mm. There's not much light in this part of my apartment. Let's move over. So it takes a 3mm outer diameter, 2mm inner diameter, stainless steel tube. If you want to figure out where you get those, it's on eBay. I searched for capillary tube and then the inner and outer diameters. You then have to cut those to a 40mm length, which I did here. And then they went to the hackerspace, because the local hackerspace, because they have a mill. And then I milled out this groove here in the middle. And I can't really get a proper image of that, can I? There we go. Because then this tube here sits inside the arm part of that extruder, and okay, let me see. Let's let it focus there, and then autofocus off. There we go. So this tube here then sits inside the arm of the extruder, and then the filament goes through here, and then this is pressed towards the drive gear, and that provides this is basically the idler, and that makes for really easy filament shifts. I can just pinch back on the arm, just pinch that back, and then pull out the filament, and that's really nice compared to this one where I had to take the idler back, and then actually, because this one had the filament path kind of mismatched a bit too close to the gear, so the filament had to go in and then bend a bit around and go back out over here. So I had to take this out, had to feed the filament in and then start extruding, and then the filament would go around, and I would have to use an Allen key to press it back in, so I would go around and locate into this hole, and then I could assemble the extruder and put this back together. So that was a pain. So this is a huge upgrade for me, that I can exchange filament that easily. So yeah, that is my 3D printer, and I love it.